Hello, everyone. It's Val. I hope you all are doing well. Wanted to share the latest day ledger with you that I just finished. And yeah, there you go. Of course, she's put on an old book. Should say vintage because I don't know exactly how old the book is. I'm guessing 1920s, 1930s. But I didn't have a specific date for it. So she's got some old vintage cloth with some cloth labels that I put on there, and lace, and some more little cloth bits I added. Hope you can see her all right. I'm going to hold her like this. And of course, I glazed this Tim Holtz portrait person. Actually, she's got a little crackle to her. I don't know if you can see that. I didn't intend for that to happen, but that was happy happenstance. And some of the Tim Holtz wallpaper too. Because the labels on these they're incised, but the labels were all damaged. So anyway, she's got a vintage button and a little antique mother of pearl button put in there. And what I did to put the buttons on, or this button on in particular, is underneath the pocket I wired it. So sturdy. That's what I was thinking. Make sure that it's usable and sturdy. So she's got a couple pockets here in the front. And I put some old pieces in there. This one is one of the ones that I came from that stack of stuff from my haul. What were they? Payroll? Something. But these are all antique pieces here. You could see that on the back. Isn't that pretty? Oh, well. I liked her, so I wanted to put her in the front. I used one of those brand new Tim Holtz, what are they, like backs of cabinet card things? I thought that would go good there. Yeah, and she's got some pretty cloth here and a little bit of trim, antique trim. And this is number 2. Did I say that already? I probably did. I have to use up some of my Tim Holtz. I got too many of those 12 by 12s, so I wanted to use those up in conjunction with the backdrops. Is that what they're called? Here's an antique page that I backed and sewed. Good for journaling. So the Day Ledger series has a lot of journaling space. That's why I wanted to make it like a ledger would, a lot of writing space. And of course I've added bits and pieces in lots of pockets. Little card there. I made this envelope. And does it have, yep, it's got writing. You can open this envelope up completely. Put a little vintage page card in there. I think that's a bird's, I can't remember. And of course, little double-sided invoice, which is not old. Looks old, looks vintage, but it is not. So I made a pocket here. Here's some sort of receipts, I think from the 1890s, but they were never written on. And ended up with a whole book of those. And I made one of these from the Tim Holtz. That was kind of fun to do. And this is another envelope that you can open up. It's just got a journaling card in there. I think from a page from something. I don't know, something. I will close that up later. Because for some reason when I do journal flip-throughs, I have sausage fingers. I don't want to do anything. So this opens up a lot of journaling space there, and I just love that new cello tape. I told you I'm going crazy on that stuff. Got to rein it in. And so again, you have a lot of writing room. This ledger is an authentic antique ledger. This is an old postcard, and this is a postcard. I think what it is a postcard back. and then I put the picture on the front. This is authentic. Some pockets in here. I've got a receipt here from 1896 in there. This one is from 1894. Good writing room on this little tuck here. In this pocket, oh, got the cutest little thing in this pocket. I happened on these little expense books. They're adorable. Little expense books. I can't say that. From 1927. And look how cute these are. Look. Like little waterfall pages. So that would be fun to collage or journal on. This is 1884. This ledger. I'm sorry I didn't tell you that prior. And let's see, a little tuck here. Pocket here with some bits and old antique bits. This is from 1886. Little photograph. This opens up for extra writing room, and this opens up. So I don't know if I can get all that in frame, but, and I put it on this Pepin paper. So pretty, this Pepin paper. Vintage book page. Some little old pieces in here. I don't know the date on this, but it's old. Really old. Oh, I think I did know the date, come to think of it. I gotta look at this. Sorry. Gotta look at this. Something about the police. And 1875. It's like embossed 1875. So we'll go with that. Let's see, what do we got here? This is an old piece as well. 1896. So quite a lot of old pieces in here. And here's a little vintage playing card. Well, that is big. Could write on that for sure. And I made this little piece here. This is a little Pacific Railroad Company form from the 1890s and a little old vintage picture there. This is ledger from a French ledger book. And I believe the date on this is 1967. So it's definitely vintage. And here's some, this is a Tim Holtz piece here, but here's, this one's 1900, who knows, 1906. We'll go with that one. And here's a nice little vintage postcard to write on. Pretty little picture there in that pocket, made out of scrapbook paper. I stained papers. This is a printable here. And in this, I don't know if you can see that. Let me move that over. Let me fix you. There. Sorry about that. Wow, 8 minutes in and you couldn't see a thing. This is kind of neat. I took some vintage cloth and just stitched it onto this card for some hidden journaling. And oh, I gotta wet my lips. I can't talk. So you can journal on the back as well. And here's a little vintage postcard there. And let's see. Okay, so I didn't tell you, but the day ledger has 3 signatures because they're large pages. So yeah, and in this pocket here, I put some, this is not an old piece, but it's out of my collection. And here's a little vintage. Isn't she pretty? You can write on that for sure. Nice cabinet card. I kind of thought she was looking at these guys and sizing them up. I put a little Tim Holtz like piece there just to dress up that page. And here's a belly band with all sorts of different bits and pieces in there. This came from that Encyclopedia of Gardening and Horticulture book that I have that's antique. It's a beautiful book. And since I am Scottish, I love to put little plaid pieces of scrapbook paper in, but I also stained the scrapbook paper. Here's a postcard here. I may have taken this off a antique or vintage book. I cannot remember. So just to let you know, here's a little collage I did on this envelope, and you can open it up and write inside of that. And here's a digital pretty print. I cannot remember who that came from. And some more of that gorgeous ledger paper. Here's scrapbook paper. I think this lace is Irish lace. I think. And if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But I'm pretty sure that's called Irish lace. And here's some handmade paper. Here's some vintage book page. And this is from a vintage botanical book. Beautiful, beautiful paper. Okay, so we're just going to go backwards. I put some antique stamps on that. More lace. Here's an old piece. Looks like it says phenylcaffeine for headache. It says it touches a spot and the pain is not. Well, there you go. That's a nice old piece to journal on. Some more bits there. Little collage there. Some old pieces here. The Honorable S. Titcomb, Augusta, Maine. And here's a nice old, I don't know the date on this envelope, but I put an old piece in here. I'm going to hold this up so you can read that. The cow. I hope you can read that. It's pretty cute. Sometimes it's like, I don't need to read things to people. They can read themselves. What's wrong with me? This is from 1927, this invoice. And let's see. This is just a new piece, but it's made to look vintage. And here's a envelope from 1905. Let me see, what do I have in there? Oh yes, this is from my collection, and I made a copy of that to journal on. And in this pocket, I actually put some acetate down, and I put this old lace over it. So yeah, that doesn't get caught. So I kind of like that. It makes the transition nice and smooth for the in and out. This is 1892, September of 1892. Really pretty little piece in there in this pocket. And this is the final signature here. I wanted to share this with you because, let me see if I can move this over so you can see what I did here. I clipped this piece on. I kind of let it straddle the page. It doesn't weigh anything really, but what I did, you can actually replace this paper in here if you want, because I put some brads there. And then under here, I put some little Velcro pieces that can come off. So you can take this off, and this has a little brad too. And I put number 2 since this is the second in the Day Ledger series. So here's a variety of little papers that I stained, and you can enjoy writing on them, and aged the brads a little bit with a hammer. So yeah, that's a fun little piece that you can use. I'll put that back later. So this is the third signature, as I said, and yeah, a little pocket there. And what do we got here? Oh yeah, that went on the back side because I had it clipped. So nice little old piece there. And yeah, Sharon, do you see I'm punching my edges? Just want you to see that. And this is from 1913. I've used this quite a lot because this was a huge ledger and that I took apart. And here's a little old piece here that I clipped here. It says best wishes from Camden, Maine, but I don't see the date on it. But it's a nice little old postcard. Some Pepin paper, and here's a little card here, all written on the back under that tuck. And here's some more little old vintage pieces in the pocket here. This is from Bird Book. I can't think of the name. I will in a second. Audubon. There you go. Just give me a second. I'll think of it. So here's some old pieces clipped on here. And again, this is that French ledger from 1967. I think I have like 4 of those books. So here's a old vintage page here from a flower guide. And this flips out. And yeah, part of that Audubon. This is from 1898, I'm thinking. Oh yes, I had to use some of that tape, the cello tape. Just love that stuff. Here's a telegraph paper that has never been written on from the 1880s. Little old piece here, and a little vintage photograph there in that pocket. And this opens up like this. You can tuck things in there if you wish. Here's a little card here. I stitched it down because I glued the back on, but that's a nice little old piece. And this is from 1895, this invoice here. I'm going to gently put that back. And yeah, more punched edge there, Sharon, just saying. And yeah, belly band here where I put some pieces and things in there, some old, some new. And yeah, little place to write there, and that tag that goes in that belly band. And a pocket here with little writing paper here that I put in there. And okay, there is the inside of the cover, the back cover, and these come out of here. This is a nice little writing paper that I glued together, and it slips down. This is a piece of old netting that I had. It made a lovely pocket, and I put a little like a little piece that looks old. It's not old, but a little piece I stitched onto it. And then this is from 1938. I think this was the one I happened to find in my last haul. That was a nice little surprise. So I put one of my cards in here and a little old vintage postcard in there to write on. And there, because you can't have envelopes without stuff in them. And so that just slips right back into there. Yeah, so it's got the elastic closure. And again, that's the back. And the front with the vintage and antique button. Some little beads there. And yeah, okay. Sorry, you can't see that. I do have the camera pretty close, but I did want you to see the detail on that. All right, so that's Day Ledger number 2. She's available in my Etsy if anybody's interested. She's got the beautiful cover. And yeah, there you go. Okay, take care all. Bye.